Hey guys, in today's video I'll be talking about 10 habits of effective students. To start off with, I'll be talking about more concrete, specific tasks that might be a little bit more obvious. And then as we move on, they become bigger, more universal things that are more mindset shifts than a specific action that you should take. Habit number 1 is putting things back where they belong. Having an organizational system is the first step to getting organized, but the most important part, and arguably the hardest, is actually putting things back where they belong within that system. As I've learned from the KonMari method, one of the best things that you can do to help yourself with this is to set up your organizational system in a way that makes it easier to put things away rather than necessarily making it easier to take things back out. For example, instead of storing your shoes inside your closet, you might want to put them by the door where you usually take them off. This habit would include day-to-day actions, just habitually putting things back where they belong rather than just dropping them in a random spot, and also having regular larger cleaning sessions like on a weekly or monthly basis. Habit number 2 is pretty obvious, but it's to not cram and instead spread out your studying over a longer period or just make it a regular part of your daily routine. My freshman year history teacher gave us a really helpful tip, which was that if you just study for 10 minutes for each subject every day, you'll pretty much be ready for anything, because that 10 minutes a day really adds up, and since it's so regularly repeated, you can really drill things into your memory instead of just looking at them one time in a giant cram session. By making studying a daily habit rather than something you just do before a test, you'll be always prepared in case there's a pop quiz or for any other larger assignments. Of course, you should be planning your studying as well for a larger test or exam, so if you'd like advice about planning for final exams or just more study tips in general, I'll link as much as I can in the cards and in the description. Habit number 3 is to pack your bag for school the night before, after you've finished your schoolwork. This way you can start the morning right instead of being rushed and panicked trying to get everything gathered together and putting it into your bag. You'll have everything all ready to go and you won't be so frazzled in the morning. Also, since usually in the morning you're kind of in a rush to get out the door, there's a larger chance that you'll forget something, maybe an important project that you need to turn in, or maybe you'll just forget your supplies and not quite be prepared for class. Habit number 4 is writing everything down in a planner. I know some of y'all are just so big-brained that you can remember everything that you need to do in your head without writing it down, but it's still a better practice to actually write everything in a planner so that there's a smaller chance of something accidentally slipping through the cracks that you end up forgetting doing. Plus, having a planner to look at will give you a physical, unavoidable reminder of long-term projects and tests that are coming up and other events. Habit number 5 is when you get home from school, you should start your homework before you start doing fun things. This will ensure that you actually do have enough time in your day to finish everything that you need to finish, and it prevents you from getting caught up in doing fun things, like say you get stuck in a Netflix marathon. Habit number 6 is having a consistent sleeping schedule. It's recommended that you sleep for at least 8 hours, but realistically that's not necessarily going to happen. So if you do have to be sleep deficient, it's better to have a regular, consistent sleeping schedule. So this means always sleeping at around the same time and waking up at around the same time. This consistent timing will help your body's circadian rhythm get used to being awake at certain hours, so during those times, you'll be more alert and more functional. Habit number 7 is to address and then learn from your mistakes. These mistakes might include slip-ups that you do on practice work at home, or it might be a bigger error that you make on a test. Whenever you see these mistakes, you really do have to look at them. I know it really hurts to see all of those red pen marks and -1 point or whatever, but even if it does hurt, that hurt will help it stick in your memory. By knowing your mistakes and remembering them, you'll be able to avoid making them again. And you can also find out your areas of weakness where there are misunderstandings you might need to correct by talking to a teacher, or just which material you need to study more. Habit number 8 is to ask for help when you need to. It is kind of hard to strike a balance between feeling too proud to admit that you don't understand something and that you need help, and between being annoying and dependent on other people and never actually learning how to figure things out yourself. You can get help from your teacher, a tutor, your friends, your family, other students in your class, or the internet. That's me. Habit number 9 is to always look ahead. Don't just be thinking about what assignments are due tomorrow. Rather, think farther ahead. Look in that planner that you've been keeping and look at what long-term projects and assignments you have coming up and any quizzes or tests. And this doesn't necessarily have to be just long-term assignments either, but longer-term life goals that you might be working towards. It's better to be ahead of the game and constantly looking ahead for what you can do better that's coming up, rather than just constantly being behind and chasing after what you already needed to and should have finished. And habit number 10, arguably the most important, is to continue learning outside of just what's required for classwork. So this could include reading for fun, both nonfiction and fiction, since in fiction you can also learn about writing skills and vocabulary and storytelling. You can watch documentaries or go to museums and plays and musicals and other cultural things happening in your area. You can take online courses like learning a language on Duolingo or classes on Skillshare. Read and listen to the news or articles that explore various other topics. Just find information and learn about what's interesting to you, not necessarily what you think will be useful in your future. Being well informed is important to being a good citizen and contributing to society and everything. Certain information might end up showing up again in classes that you take in the future, but that's not necessarily the goal of this. Rather, it's just to learn about things that you enjoy learning about, just for the sake of knowing them and feeling happy and fulfilled. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you'd like more studying and organizational tips, well, that's what my entire channel is about, so I'll link as much as I can in the cards and description. I upload new videos every Monday, and my Instagram is @studyquill if you want to check it out. See you next time!